Okay, my big marketing mistake and how you can avoid it. Boom, shakalaka. Today we're going to talk about this. You like to think of yourself as Babe Ruth. You get up to the plate and you're going to swing with all your might. You're going to hit it over the fence and you're going to kill it every time. Turns out you don't always actually do that. And so what I thought I would do is today I would share with you some of my mistakes and some of the things that I should have or shouldn't have done, and then you can say, got it, don't have to do it. To me, this is kind of like you could experiment walking out into the street and getting hit by a car, but instead of getting hit by a car, you could just actually learn vicariously not to do such a thing. And so today, I'll share with you one of it is. But before, to kind of give you the backstory so that you kind of see this mistake that I made. Like one of the things I really enjoy is I like learning about marketing. Marketing, how do you do it? How do you do it properly? How do you take and grow a business? How do you take and scale a business? And in pursuit of that, you're in pursuit of knowledge. Or I found myself in pursuit of knowledge. And one of the things that I really like is like you got Russell Brunson, who he's actually gone out and he's created businesses doing marketing, like selling this or selling this, all kinds of different things. And it's been very helpful to be able to follow somebody like that because they've actually gone out and they don't just talk about marketing, but they've actually marketed and they've actually created successful businesses. And then they've actually obviously made a transition where they're now selling and teaching and coaching people how to be able to launch, scale, and to grow a business, which is actually very valuable. Okay, so where I kind of ran into this is under the pretense of being able to go and hire somebody to be able to come in and coach me. Like there's a lot of variables and it's hard to know everything you should be doing exactly at that right moment at the right time so that when you execute, you're actually going in the correct direction rather than wasting your time going to the left or right. You know what I mean? Straight line, A to B, A to B. That's kind of what the big idea is. Well, the big mistake is you already know I went and hired a coach. That was $24,000. And the idea is he could get me from A to B and show me how to do it quicker. And the thing I noticed is during this coaching effort, we started creating and making Facebook ads and content and stuff. And then we started putting it out in the marketplace, running these ads. And what I noticed is that nobody really was clicking on it or really coming to my website. When they came to my website, they really weren't choosing to opt in. So on the whole, my ads were not driving the traffic like they were supposed to, and they were going to a landing page that people were not actually opting into. So in the end, I spent $4,500 on ads and stuff, plus another $2,000 and stuff on having a professional come out and shoot video content with me. And in the end, it didn't actually generate any sales. And I'm like, holy snap, I just spent a ton of money. In fact, the weird thing is this. The weird thing is this. Is as I was going through that journey and figuring out and trying to figure out and test which ads, which content, what stuff would work, I actually ended up discovering that the less I listened to my coach and started experimenting and toying around with things that were not expensive to create, but I was putting out there and I was testing my message so that I could figure out how to reiterate it and how to put more content out there. But I deviated massively from what he did. I had to stop taking his advice and actually just start trying to do my own stuff. I started creating my own ads. I started creating my own webpage, started optimizing it, tweaking it, testing it. So in the end, my page didn't really look like his. It actually was modeled after somebody else that was successful. And my ads no longer modeled after his. And then all of a sudden, I got traffic to my site. All of a sudden, I was able to drive traffic to my website. Now, it still didn't convert. But the thing that I kind of discovered in this whole thing is I like the idea of hiring a coach. I like the idea of modeling. I like the idea of following people who are successful because I believe success leaves clues. What I realized is there's a lot of people out there that would love to coach, teach, train, and show you how to do a whole lot of things that they actually don't know how to do. I actually stopped and I started asking myself, what is it about my ads and what is it that I'm doing that's is causing it not to convert. And so I actually went back and I started looking at the coach's website. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think that website's converting. And I started asking him, I'm like, hey, I doubt that page is converting very well. And I noticed, and then I actually ended up discovering that he actually turned off his own ads because he couldn't create his own ads to create his own content on his own website to convert. Or in other words, he was teaching me how to do exactly what he couldn't successfully get done. And I've met a lot of people out there that are kind of like, in my mind, they're charlatans. Because they don't know how to do the thing, but they're happy to coach you and teach you and train you how to do the thing. And I think if I would have just gone back before I hired the coach, and I had gone back and I just looked at his ads account and said, does this gentleman run ads? And when I would have gone in there and saw that, no, not really, he does not, then I would have realized that because he cannot successfully run ads, that having him teach and train me on creating ads was probably a very bad idea. And so, very expensive mistake. Now, would I choose to make that same mistake again or choose to do nothing? Well, I'll tell you what I would have done. I would choose to do something because, like, nobody can say, hey, I crushed it. Like, my key to success was doing absolutely nothing. Like, I crushed it. My daughter's laughing because I told her this thing. I'm like, nobody's like, yeah, I crushed it. I did nothing. Right? So you're never going to succeed in doing nothing. So you got to figure out how to at least take massive action. Not every massive action that you take clearly is a massive action that should be taken. And so, just like one of the things that Google does is they create what they call a minimal viable product. And they put this thing out there and they test it. But they don't. What it is it's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of effort. They don't sink thousands and thousands and thousands of bucks into something that's going to be a dog. They take and create a minimal viable product, put it out there. Like, I think it's almost like they have to be able to come up with a concept and a day to put it out there. Put it out there, see if anybody on the planet thinks that it's kind of cool. And if it gets a little traction, they're like, whoa, wait a minute. Now let's start looking at, put a little more money behind this. Let's look at it. And so I've had to pull back. And I said, I've got to do something different. I can't take the advice of somebody whose business is successful teaching people how to create ads when he doesn't know how to create ads. Okay? But so what I did is I said, wait a minute. So I pulled back. I've gone out and I've hired a couple bloggers. I've hired a tech guy. I've got my video guy. I've got me a cool team. And here's what we're doing. We're just taking and we're creating, I call it minimal viable products. Probably the best word is I'm trying to figure out how you can, what message, what content, what stuff can I get out there into people's hands where they will go, wait a minute. And they will actually click on it, look at it, read it. One of the things that the Harmon brothers do is they create this content and they've created like Squatty Potty, the Fiber Fix. They've created, what's that one you like, Michaela Ray? That's my daughter right there.
Lume?
Huh? Lume. So that's the deodorant stuff. My daughter loves watching those things. Purple Mattress. They created these really cool ads. What they did is they actually they put headlines out there and they figured out what people would like. And then they put video or like pictures or images or video content trying to see what would actually resonate before they actually go into full-on scale production creating the content. They have a whole lot of testing that takes place in advance. Then once they figured out how they nail the message and they know that the message actually resonates, then they'll take that and they'll start scaling it. And so what we're doing right now is we are creating content, we're creating blogs, we're testing headlines, we're testing messages, we're posting stuff, trying to see what is it that people are willing to look at. What are they willing to click on? What causes them to be excited? So when I know that, the answer to that, then I can take that thing and I can start doubling down and figuring out, okay, now how do I take the success here and then start scaling it up? Rather than, like, my coach should have just done, like, I look back, I'm like, my coach, I don't know why somebody that wants to charge you $24,000 should have known that we probably should have spent some time figuring out the message and the messaging before we go spending a whole bunch of money on running ads and stuff. only to completely miss the mark. We could have tested it and figured this stuff out. So right now I'm spending more time on my organic traffic, driving organic traffic, figuring out what the audience really wants to hear, what resonates, and once I know what that is, then I'm going to follow back up and start running ads, because the ads can amplify what I already know works. Does that make sense? And so that was my big mistake. I see people doing the same big mistake even in my solar market. Okay, what do I mean by that? This is what I mean. Okay, like the same thing is like, why would you hire somebody to teach you, to show you something, who doesn't actually eat their own cooking? When Tony Robbins, when he went and got hired by Jim Rohn, like Tony Robbins is 17 years old. He couldn't even get a loan from a bank, so to speak. And Jim Rohn says, hey, Tony, I think it'd be great to have you come work for me. So here's what you got to do. Nobody comes and works for my company without owning my product, because you have to be committed and understand what it is so that you can actually be an effective salesperson of this product. And so Tony Robbins is like, holy cow. He's like, I don't have $1,700. I don't have any money at all. And he said he went to bank to bank to bank to bank until he finally found somebody who would willingly lend, well, I don't know about willingly, he probably talked the ears off, but lend to a kid who was 17 years old, $1,700, so they could buy Jim Rohn's product and sell it. See, Jim knew the power of eating your own cooking. He knew the power in it. And I see these guys out there, they're selling solar, they're selling solar, they're selling solar. And then I'm like, do you actually own the stuff? How do you know? What's your experience? Why would I want to listen to you when you don't eat your own cooking, right? And so I see these guys doing it everywhere. Like, I put solar up on my house. I experimented on me. I said, does this work? Once I realized that it worked, I'm like, boom, shakalaka. Now I can go out and help you, because I now know for a fact that this thing is actually a massive help. It's a huge win for me. And so I experimented on me first before I went and experimented on my customers. And so that is one of the things that I think should at least avoid the big mistake, which is experimenting on you before you go experiment on them. So right now I'm doing another experiment, okay? I am putting solar up on top of my house, okay? I've already got solar up there, but what I am doing is I'm creating a product that's called the end game. What do I mean by the end game? My product called the end game means, like, I am anticipating and I am planning for the end game. And I'm creating 3 products. One is the end game, which is I put a solar system up on top of your house. End game Pro means I put the system on top of your house with a battery, because I know you have certain needs where you want to be prepared. The Endgame Pro Plus, this is when I put batteries up on top of a house, and the reason I do this is, like, this is more than just a battery. This is increasing the amount of batteries on top of your house, or on your house, because what I want is when the grid goes down, you're like, hey, I want to be on an island. I want to be separate. I don't want to be connected to anything that would create a weakness in my ability to power my house, run things, and anything like that. I want the end game nailed. Okay, that's the Endgame Pro Plus. That's the system that I'm creating. That's the system I'm in the process of installing on my house, and I'm doing it because I want the end game, and at the same time, I know you do, and I want to make sure that when I say, hey, this is something that benefits you, it is in fact true. In fact, true. I have actually tested it. I verified it. I validated it. I know for a fact that it would help you out. So, there you go. Learn from me. Learn from me. $24,000 mistake. Big mistake is hire people who actually can do the thing that you want done, not the pretenders, because the pretenders are just a bunch of charlatans pretending to know how to coach you or how to help you, and they don't. All right, you can go to AskSolarMike.com. So ASK, my daughter says do not say ask too fast because it sounds different. AskSolarMike.com. Go over there, check it out. Get a request for a free DIY quote. I do DIY online. You can get a free quote online. I just email it to you. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I keep it simple. But I also teach you how to install the DIY system too, which makes it
way easier.